There's Purdy in the gun. 3 receivers left. Kittle, Jennings, Debo from in to out. Ayuk is right. Purdy back. Time. Steps around from DeMarcus Lawrence. Throws for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Boy, what a start. First drive for this offense.
They got CeeDee Lamb, the number 3 receiver inside. Now he goes in motion right, followed by Isaiah Oliver. 49ers are tipping man on 3rd and 2. Dak back. Plenty of time. Pumps. Now rolls left. Now he's going to get sacked by Fred Warner and Javon Kinlaw. He's getting the ball out of his hands quick against everybody but the Niners. He held the ball way too long. Here's an end around and a flea flicker. Back to Brock Purdy. Takes a shot down the sideline to George Kittle. Kittle all the way to the end zone. Touchdown!
What's going on, 49er faithful? It's your boy Breezie. Welcome to the Wayne Breezie Show. Let's get this show crack-a-lackin', baby. That's right. That's right. Victory Monday. We are celebrating out there. The 49ers got another victory. Another victory. Home victory at that. They held it down at home in the Bay at Levi Stadium. And let me tell you something right now, man. Woo, it was nail biting. You know, it was nail biting. It was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're gonna lose this game. Not to the Cardinals again. Oh my goodness, like what's going on? Oh my God, that's like what we doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just weird. It was like it was a weird vibe. This game, the game was weird. I will leave it at that. But shout out to all the Patreon members that watched the game with me live on the Patreon. Man, I just wanted to salute you guys out there. You gotta join the Patreon, man, because I'm doing some good things over there. It's not just film breakdown. It was actually it was. Trust me, if you really want to see how I am during a 49ers game, then join that Patreon and you guys will be able to, you know, experience the game with Breezie without actually being there. But I tell you, you will feel like you were there. I could promise you that. And I'm sure some of the Patreon members will let you know. But again, man, Niners win 16-13, and it's not high fashion. It wasn't a cakewalk. It was a gritty freaking grind out to the last freaking second win. And you know, kudos to the 49ers organization for pulling the plug on Jake Moody and bringing in another kicker. And I think the vibes are very high on Eddie Piñeiro, right? I think the vibes are really high on Eddie Piñeiro. Hit the game winner. For sure. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly here. We're going to go over and review some of the grades. And I'm going to take some of y'all takes, man, right here on the live air. So, you know, let's go ahead and get down to this. Again, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Welcome to the show. Make sure you hit that like button. Feel free to leave some comments if you guys are watching this on the repass or if you're listening to it in the audio section, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to it. Feel free. Leave, comment, interact there. I will respond to you. Not too many interact on the audio version, but Spotify, you can. I put up polls, ask questions and things like that. So feel free to interact and I'll get back to you as well. And don't forget, man, make sure you rate the podcast if you're listening to it. It's almost like hitting the thumbs up button right here on YouTube. We want the YouTube, we want the platform to help push the show. You know what I'm saying? And I'm ready to take the Wayne Breezie Show to a whole nother level. I got some new gear that I'm working on. Wait till you see the Wayne Breezie varsity jackets. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Right? Gonna be crazy. Don't worry, I've been watching Martin, so I'm in my, you know, Shanae phase right now. But anyway, man, feel free to follow me on YouTube, X, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, man, Facebook. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook, X, Twitter, all that good stuff as well. You can support the channel right now. You can support this channel right here, just becoming a member of the Breezy Bunch crew. Speaking of the member of the Breezy Bunch crew, it's time for member shout outs. All right. It's time for the membership shout outs. Now, I don't know what the hell was going on with the Madden stream last week, but man, it kept freezing. It kept doing some things. So hopefully, you know, I promise, like my internet is Gucci. Like, you know what I'm saying? I upgraded It don't go to the world no more. It stay locked in. So it wasn't an internet thing. It was something with whatever I was using to stream the game. Jax Knox in the building early. First member, good morning, afternoon, Wayne and the faithful. We are freaking 3-0. Man, if we win in gritty games like this, just wait until we get people back. I love it. Let's continue to fix our issues and win games. I like that you noticed that the Niners still had issues, even though they find themselves 3-0. Even though they find themselves 3-0. You know what I'm saying? It's super dope. You know what I mean? 49ers throwback. Happy Victory Monday. Please make sure y'all smash that like button. 49ers are 3-0 and in first place of the NFC West. They're 2-0 in the division. They're 3-0 in the league. They're one of the only, there's 6 teams that are 3-0. There's 3 NFC teams. The Niners, all right, to me, are sitting at the top. So you got the Niners out there, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe, are 3-0. And there's one more 3-0 NFC team. I think the AFC, you got the Bills, the Chargers. What a nail-biting finish for the Chargers. They came from behind, too. And what's the other AFC team that's at the top? Chargers, the Bills. Why am I missing a team per division? Like, go figure. Tells you what, I don't really give 2 flying cares about, but the Niners, that's the only team that matters. You know what I'm saying? So throwback, thanks for being in here as well. Don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? Membership shout outs, man. When you become a member, you get the floor. 49er Jeff Victory Monday. Let's go. You know what I haven't done it in a long time. I haven't taken a victory shot. Is it too early to take a victory shot? I know it's early on the West Coast. It's 1 p.m. here on the East Coast. Is that too early for everybody? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Boats, what's going on? I see you out there. JP Hella Hard in the building with the hashtag. He says the BA slander is going to get out of control. Now, all of a sudden, Ricky is better than BA. I'm not here to argue. Just glad we got them both. You ain't never lied, right? It's about to heat up. I got a message yesterday. I think it was, I don't know if it was on Facebook or whatever, but can't remember. And they were just talking about, Ricky Pearsall is the true number one. And I was like, well, he is. He's turning into that. Let's just, I want to know what it's going to be like when he doesn't have a 100-yard game and how y'all feel. But he's definitely turning into a wide receiver that you can definitely depend on, count on, run the routes, get open, great hands. Sort of like Brandon Ayuk. I mean, isn't that what you expect out of a first-round pick? Like, I'm confused. You draft a wide receiver in the first round, and you expect them to be that guy. So when Brandon Ayuk returns, it's not going to be such a rush with the progression. We're going to talk about the 49ers wide receiver room because not only was Ricky Pearsall balling, we're going to get another wide receiver back this week, and we'll talk about that in a second. All right. More shout-outs, man. Definitely appreciate the members on this channel. I'm just scrolling through the chat just to see if there's any other members that I missed. I see Nigel out there, a moderator for sure. Felicia in the building. Good morning, faithful. It's Victory Monday. Big Daddy Niners. 17 months, baby. Holding it down. I don't know why it's saying Boats has become a new member because Boats has been a member since the day we've started. So Boats, man, I don't know why YouTube trying to do you dirty, dog. Tell YouTube stop doing you dirty. You feel me? Let's hit up YouTube without them banning my channel again. Marty Marr, 49er Empire. Why? We always have to sacrifice a player to win. Damn. I had to say that. I felt like damn is okay to say. It's just a damn word. The Beavers build it. Yo, I feel like with great sacrifice, man, comes great conquering wins, things down the road. Let's just keep our prayers and hopes up for the report on Nick Bosa. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see what happens, and praying that they come back negative, right? At least the ACL. I'd rather Nick Bosa miss 8 weeks than miss the rest of the season. I think everybody probably feels that way. We'll talk about the injury. Big Papa Wayne, I don't know when I remember the Dallas game. I've been there. Wayne, I don't know, Wayne. I remember the Dallas game. I've been there. You don't know, Wayne. Oh, what did I say for you to say that you don't know about the Dallas game? I don't know what I said. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what I said. It's funny. It says, what was that the stadium Sunday was at the stadium Sunday, and it was seriously a roller coaster. I can't imagine how y'all felt at the stadium. I can't even imagine the knots in y'all stomachs, right? Because how about the time you thought the Niners pretty much had secured the victory, and then they turned the ball over, right? They get the safety, right? And then it's just like, oh my God, like what is going on? And then you had to settle on a kick. I think everybody had their eyes closed on that kick. Crazy Juice, what's going on? Again, these are the member shout outs, the member shout out portion of the Wayne Breezie Show. Oscar in the building, decided to be breezy today and checking in late, bruh. When I say I love you, that really means I can't stand you, fam. Like that's what that means. I just want you to know it's the exact opposite. I was late too, though. I was 2 minutes late because I want to make sure that I have the last bit of news before I click live. Like make sure that it's queued up, because once I go live, I'm live. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to navigate. Boom, boom, boom. And I want to keep my eyes on you. Well, thanks for being late. You know what I'm saying? You know what they say. You know, thanks for being late. Ty has a comment about the Madden stream didn't like your uniform selection. It did not. It did not. Listen, I went to the throwbacks. Go check out the video. Speaking of that, go check out the Madden. And I promise you're going to be like, yo, Breezy Madden might be on to something. Just go check it out. We'll get to some more member shout outs later on in the show. We got a couple of super chats we want to get to. And then let's get to the damn show, because we got a game to talk about. I just realized I got on a hoodie in my basement with bright ass lights, and I'm hot. I'm just hot all of a sudden. You know what I mean? All right, so let's get to these super chats. Shout out to the super chat. Nigel, a moderator of the Wayne Breezie channel. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the super chat. He says, we don't win that game without Stout's PBU pass breakup. Man, you give super chats, I'm dropping the flex bomb. You want the flex bomb, you give super chats, because these chats are explosive. Let's talk about the number 20, the great number 20. It's funny because we had another great number 20 that used to wear number 20. How many players you can remember that were? Who's the first player that comes to mind when you who wore number 20? All right. I mean, the first player that came to mind is Upton Stout. And then the second player that came to mind is Jimmy Ward. I did that on purpose, too, because I think Upton Stout is going to be a fine, distinguished gentleman in the NFL. Once this game officially slows down, because I got my gripes about Upton Stout, too. There's things that he still has to work on. But, man, the one technique he seems to have down packed is finishing the play. When you ask for a player to be a finisher, it's like you want that player to finish all the way down to the ground, right? Finish all the way to the ground. Let the ground help you out a little bit on the defense. Now, the bad part about that play is he was burnt. The good part about the play is that the ball was floated enough for him to recover, and for him to get the PBU by keeping his hand, like just fighting to make sure that that ball and that pass wasn't a completed pass. So, yo, you're right. The take is great. The take is explosive for sure. You don't win that game without that PBU. That PBU was huge. I'll leave it at that. That PBU was huge. All right, Jack's knocked with another super chat. Got him going. Big shout out to Upton Stout, because without him, we probably would have lost another Upton Stout supporter, and I love it. I love it. Let me say this. We had ups and downs, but we overcame and won the game. I like that. We overcame and won the game. Nice little rhyme there. Got a little rhyme going. 4-0 coming up. This our undefeated year. I like it. She's 17-0 for Jack's Knox. Jack's Knox 17-0 until we not. You know what I'm saying? And I could dig it. But yo, I agree. The Upton Stout play saved the day. And you know, this is a testament to Robert Saleh's defense. You know what I'm saying? This is a testament to his defense and what his defense does. You know what I mean? And you have to say he went young for a reason, and then after 3 weeks, you're going to allow these young players to go through these growing pains. But come week 6, come week 7, when the game starts to slow down, I think Fred Warner said in the presser, and I got to clip it up, but he said that they're not playing like rookies out there. And what if I told you that 4 rookies in this game defensively helped the 49ers win this game? Marquise Siegel had a great PBU. Upton Stout had that great PBU. Michael Williams had that big tackle for a loss. You see where I'm going with this? And it's just like the defense is going to be all right. Like the future is very bright. You know what I'm saying? Rowdy 3-3 in the building. The future is very bright. John Swanson, another member. Why have bad feelings about any Niner? As a fan, I want the best for everyone. I don't know. Some people, it's the half glass empty, half full thing, and some people just take different perspectives on situations. I kind of agree with you. I miss the bright side. I feel like queuing up the song. Do it just fine. I want it all. But not like I just always try to see the positive side of everything, regardless. And back to what Jack said in her super chat, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. Players are going to have bad moments. We got to talk about Mac Jones. We're going to talk about his good and the bad and the ugly. We have to, because in order to get better, in order to grow, you have to have some things go wrong because you need something to learn from. So I think it's okay to constructively criticize and offer suggestions on how to be better. I mean, nobody thrills me. I prefer listening to Mac Jones and a presser than I do Brock Purdy. Mac Jones is laughing. He's cracking the freak up, even when he messed up. He's like, oh, yeah, I messed up. No problem. He explained the screen, the play of the screen. Christian McCaffrey had to tell him what to do on the screenplay. He's like, oh, yeah, I kind of forgot that part. That part didn't stick. It didn't register in my memory. Listen, man, when you got those players and you're winning games with players like that, man, sign me up. I will tell you this, though. The Niners are the most dangerous team in the NFL because they're winning through adversity. I can go through those 6-0 teams. Let me get the 6-0 teams because NFL undefeated teams, because that's important, right? Undefeated teams, because I can tell you right now, just looking at these undefeated teams, you got the Chargers. Oh, the Eagles. Did I forget the Eagles in the NFC? My bad. The Eagles look good. I don't care. They don't look good. But the fact that they were able to come from behind and get that dub, that's a scary team. I would say the NFC's scariest teams are the 49ers and the Eagles. And then in the AFC, I think it would be the Bills and the Chargers. Believe it or not, the Chargers look scary to me because they're finding ways to win. And who the hell is that other 3-0 team? Let me just pull up the goddamn standings. That makes it so much easier. The Colts! Oh my gosh, how can I forget the Colts? Well, now you can see why I forgot the Colts. But when you look at the Niners, I mean, the Colts don't really seem to be facing much adversity. I mean, they pretty much have their team. They're pretty healthy, right? It's just Daniel Jones, and he's playing MVP football. And when you look at the Chargers, the Chargers are dealing with a lot of injuries too. I mean, hell, they lost their best offensive lineman before the season even started. And they're finding ways to win. These are the scary teams that down the stretch, if they're figuring out how to win without, you best to beware. And then the Bills are the Bills. I mean, the Bills are made to win, but I just feel like they're built wrong. Like the Bills have no wide receiving game whatsoever. At some point, a team's going to get the best of them, but they got the quarterback. So at the end of the day, that's who they have, that guy. And then you look at the Eagles are young defensively, and they're still trying to figure it out. Right? And so they're going to need time. Sounds like the Niners to me. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another team that's finding ways to win. My favorite rookie to watch this year is Emeka Egbuka. Like, I feel like he is just that guy. And I hate Ohio State, but he's in the NFL now, so it doesn't count. That dude is figuring out a system to play in the system that he's in. I feel like him and Ricky Pearsall resemble each other as far as their style and the way that they play, their ability to get open at such a young stage in their career. So Tampa Bay Bucks finding ways to win. They're dealing with a lot of injuries too. And their whole damn offensive line is gone. And then the Niners, I mean, we got to be the most injured team in the league, even though people are going to say, oh, the Arizona Cardinals have more injured players. Man, miss me with that. They might have more players injured, but think about the value of the players that the Niners have injured. Jax Knox, another Super Chat contribution. Explosive. Let's see if we get another explosive take. She's the 49ers hit gold in the draft, man. These rookies are balling. I love how when they make mistakes, they speak on how they working to fix them. Yeah, like I think taking accountability is key. And you know, for me, I'm expecting rookies to make mistakes. Some people don't, but for me, I'm expecting the rookies to make a lot of mistakes. Okay, so I do like that the rookies are taking accountability to things. And they're definitely, each game is going to be a different learning curve, right? Because like not just the rookies aren't the only ones being tested. I mean, they're testing D Winters, they're testing Renardo Green, they're just testing the young players that haven't had a lot of playing time as far as snaps. So they're testing these guys. It's just the way that it is, the ebbs and flows of the games. Jax, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Let's talk about some 49ers news. DeMarcus Robinson's suspension has been fulfilled. And he will be back on the active roster. And so the Niners are going to have to do some things where they're going to have to figure out who's going to be off. And here are my 5 receivers for the Niners. I think I posted it on Twitter. So let me see if I can go find it on Twitter so I don't got to kind of like think about what the hell I said and make stuff up. All right. Now, I think Kyle Shanahan is going to have a mother freaking blast just getting back an extra piece, right? And so I think personally, let me just blow that up. I'm getting better. I'm getting better with the share screen. You know what I mean? It's live. You know what I mean? It's how we do. Here's my starting 5. I wanted to call him my Fab 5 because it's Michigan. But here's my starting 5. Juwan Jennings, depending health. Well, we don't know with his health status. We know he's dealing with the shoulder injury, the ankle, and stuff like that. Ricky Pearsall, definitely slot to the X. DeMarcus Robinson is going to be back. What a big play. DeMarcus Robinson was one of the best wide receivers we watched in the preseason. So he was catching passes from Brock and Mac. And so I'm excited. I'm not worried about his football shape or anything like that. It's not like he's going to be like that guy. Kendrick Bourne continues to make strides like in the trending direction. You talk about a guy that's been injured, didn't have any camp stuff action going in New England, comes into San Francisco. He injects this energy. I always talk about my Transformer days growing up. If you guys are familiar with Energon cubes, you know what I'm talking about because that's what actually helped the Transformers operate. Energon cubes. And so I feel like that's what Kendrick Bourne is bringing. Also, his experience. I mean, we're not even talking about some of the catches he had. He had a drop, I think. It was kind of low. Wish he would have caught it. But somebody on a third down, some of the catches that he had helped save the day. I think everybody contribute to winning this game. I'm just going to keep it a buck. Like, everybody contribute to winning this game. And then Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I hope I spelled his name right. I feel like I didn't. I think it's supposed to be a S at the end of the what you call it, and then a D at the end. But that's what happens when you're typing and lifting weights at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So apologize for the typo if I spelled it wrong. But man, and then you got to look at some of the other guys. I mean, what's going to happen to Sky Moore? You're not going to keep 6 guys, I don't think, on active for the day. Maybe Valquez Scantling goes back down, and you bring Sky Moore because of his ability to play special teams. So I may have that wrong. I'm just taking this is where my start. I said my starting five, right? At the wide receiver position. Or maybe we go with 6 wide receivers, but that's a lot of wide receivers to go with active, on game day. But we've been going with 5, so I've been keeping it at 5. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But that's kind of like what I'm digging. And I think, can we all kind of pull back just a little bit on the receivers? Because I feel like when their numbers are called, whoever is getting the ball is going out there being dominant. I just feel like they're going out there and they're doing the thing. When their number is called, they're going out there and do the thing. When Juwan Jennings had a week 2. Ricky Pearsall had a week 1 and a week 3. No Juwan Jennings in week 2, so Ricky Pearsall had a week 3. And then everybody else helps supplement, and you keep Christian McCaffrey in the midst of everything. Like, Christian McCaffrey is the 49ers' best offensive player. And you can't even argue with me about that. He is the best offensive player on the San Francisco 49ers. He is asked to do and play so many snaps, take so many hits. The dude carries the ball 20, 30 times a game. Then he's getting over 10 to 15 targets per game. You can't tell me Christian McCaffrey isn't the best dude. Speaking of that, Christian McCaffrey is the first player to average at least 5 yards on 75 plus touches through week 3 since DeMarco Murray in 2014. It's like Christian McCaffrey continues to get better in different ways, and we still tripping because he's not running like he was running before. Man, listen, this offensive line different, man. His offensive line is a little different. It's a little different. So, look, the Niners figured out a way to get, to come back and get this win. They're going to get another weapon, in DeMarcus Robinson. I can't wait to see what happens. All right, let's go through these injuries. We'll save the Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa left the game. Knee injury, did not return. Michael Williams, wrist injury, he returned. Ronaldo Green, head injury, got checked for concussion, returned. Mac Jones, knee injury, returned. You saw him play with the brace on. And then CJ West, thumb injury, did not return. We got to talk about Nick Bosa. We don't have updates. Now, Kyle Shanahan said the quick doctor check on, whatever, the blue tent, whatever, doesn't appear to be an ACL injury. It doesn't appear to be an ACL injury. So he also stated that he did not want to rule out the ACL, PCL, MCL, any ligament damage without having the actual test. All right. So without having the actual test, he doesn't want to rule it out. So going forward, if the Niners are without Nick Bosa, it presents a challenge. So the Niners are going to have to figure out how to supplement, which they did. I think Michael Williams proved that he's ready to play on the outside. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of who we played in week 3. If we were playing like a different type of quarterback that you didn't have to contain like Kyler Murray, it'd be a little different. But the fact that he played a dynamic running quarterback in Kyler Murray and we helped contain Kyler Murray, I feel like he's ready to play out on the edge, which is good for him. But again, but now it changes up the amount of snaps you're giving to everybody else. And so Bryce Huff, hell of a game. I think the Niners generated 22 total pressures defensively. They had 1 sack, the Bryce Huff sack. So one of those pressures did come from Nick Bosa. But again, Kyler Murray on the ground, they held him to 37 yards. We've seen Kyler Murray rush for 78, damn near 90-something in one game we've played against him. But the Niners defense held Kyler Murray to 37 yards. And that's a big bonus for the San Francisco 49ers defense, because I think he might be just the most elusive quarterback that the Niners will face this year. The only thing is they got to face him again, you know. And so that's a plus, man. I give a round of applause to the defense. But the game changed a little bit. Let's just keep it a buck. Yeah, the defense stepped up when Nick Bosa went out. But now what's going to happen is teams are going to game plan. If Nick Bosa doesn't play, teams are now going to game plan. And it's going to change things a little bit. I saw someone in the live chat ask me what's going on, Stovey? What happened to Connor Colby? They attacked him. He's a rookie. And they were sending all kinds of stunts and stuff at him. I haven't watched the film yet, but I'm just going off of what I saw on the gameplay. They just came at him. So that's what defensive coordinators are going to do. When you come in and you supplement a player, it's harder. You're not prepared for that guy. But when that guy is the guy to go, then you kind of game plan for that guy. So I'm not saying Michael won't overcome challenges or stuff like that, but now teams, if Nick Bosa's out and he has to play that left end or right end, and he has to play that, teams are going to prepare to attack that side. He's the rookie. It's just it's a rites of passage in the NFL. You know, they're going to test rookies. They want to see what these young guys, these young pups, are made of, and if they can, handle the test, handle all of that, then they're ready to become dogs. Okay, but definitely we'll see what happens when Jacksonville comes into town. But another freaking crazy, weird offense, right? But we'll see what happens. So again, we don't have any updates on Nick Bosa. And as far as Connor Colby, I'm not going to be super down on him. This kid played through a groin injury. That just shows me he's an Iron Man. And you give me all Iron Men up front on that offensive line. I mean, Trent Williams still playing injured. You just give me those guys, I'm good. They'll be just fine. They'll be just fine. Not worried about that. Especially in a game where they only gave up 11 pressures. Now, he gave up the most. But at the end of the day, they gave up 5 of those 11 pressures. But at the end of the day, he's playing on a groin injury. So we'll look into that. Now the Niners, if Nick Bosa is injured, if Nick Bosa is going to miss some time, the Niners need to probably go out and grab a free agent. And this is why they save some of that cap space, man. I know people be like, oh, man, we got all this money. Let's sign this guy. Hold your horses, because season end injuries happen during the season. They happen. And when they happen, you got to be either you got the depth and you're ready to go, or you just going to have to, hit that free agent market and see who's available. And that's what it comes down to. Now I'm looking on Spot Rack, and I won't go through this right now because I get these wrong. So a lot of these guys have been signed, and I'm looking to see which ones are available. All right, so Carl Lawson, Oscar says look for Carl Lawson, defensive end. He played with the Jets and with Robert Saleh. He is available. He's 30 years old, and he probably won't cost a lot. They might bring Alex Barrett back. That's a guy that's familiar with the system as well. He's a little older, but he's been in the Niners system. So Alex Barrett, you said Carl Lawson. Looking at a couple of other names out there. See, maybe Gruger Hill from he played in Minnesota. He's a free agent. Shaq Barrett, I think he's retired, if I'm not mistaken. And so look, not too many crazy names available. I see Kyle says practice squad elevate. Who would you elevate as an edge on the practice squad? Who would you elevate? And so that's gonna be the ultimate question. Let me go to my data and let's see who we have available on the practice squad that is worthy of the edge. I think it gets a little tricky because the Niners, maybe. I know. What's the guy that we signed? Hold on. Maybe they do elevate Travis Gibson. Maybe Robert Bill Jr. Drake Jackson is not on the 49ers. He's gone. John V, what's going on, baby? Good to see you too. Yeah, I just tanked. Drake's gone. So look for names. Travis Gibson, who I thought should have made the roster. He had a tremendous preseason. So Travis Gibson and Robert Bill Jr. is back on the practice squad. So those are guys that I feel like can play edge. Sebastian Valdez, do you view him as an edge rusher or an interior guy? And so, maybe they do Sebastian Valdez. Maybe they don't go look for another edge rusher. Because if you move Michael Williams to the outside, you bring Valdez in, you elevate him up, and he plays in the interior. Either Valdez or Evan Anderson. One of those two guys could come in and play interior. That way you keep the depth of the rotation. So I'm not saying Nick Bosa is going to miss any time for those that are watching the show. We all saw the injury. We all know it's in the knee. I think they said it was an ankle injury, or a knee injury. Anyway, we all know it's bad. And he did not return. He went to the locker room, and it was rough, right? And so we don't know until the reports come out. So we're just going to keep our fingers crossed, keep our prayers and hopes and high, right? At this point, you're hoping, and like I said, we're hoping it's not a season-ending injury. So if it's 8 games, cool beans. If it's season ending, maybe they go that Carl Lawson route. If it's not season ending, maybe they look to elevate from the practice squad. So we kind of satisfy both constraints. All right, man, let's get into some plays, stats, recap the game. Not really much to talk about. It was low scoring. It was kind of. Let me know in the live chat if you felt that this game was dull and boring. I'm just curious to know if you guys felt the game was dull and boring. I didn't get dull and boring. I got weird. But I didn't understand why we weren't seeing much more offense. I will tip my hat to Jonathan Gannon and that Cardinals defense. CJ said the game was a struggle. 49 Justice, hell no. Corey, hell no. Big Daddy says boring. See, I knew we all on opposite ends. You know what I'm saying? I get it. If the offense ain't clicking, that game ain't ticking. It's boring. Ty says it was boring. Frustrating, VZ. Frustrating, for sure. Dull and boring is what the Cardinals do. 10-play drives that ends in punts. Listen, man, it was tough. It was a tough game. I was nauseous all game, Rob D. Game wasn't boring, Collie. Look, it was a weird vibe offensively. They just really couldn't get going. We knew that they were going to come out and try to do what? Stop the run. We knew that. We knew that from the jump. We knew that the Cardinals were going to come out and defensively try to take away the rushing attack for the San Francisco 49ers. We just knew that. The 49ers rushed 20 times for 73 yards. Another game where the Niners are under 100 yards. So back-to-back games, the Niners rushed under 100 yards. Back-to-back games. Henceforth, this is why the Niners just threw the ball a lot, right? 41 pass attempts, 41 times they threw the ball. So Mac Jones has thrown the ball 80 times in the last 2 games. That cat's arm going to fall off at some point. Brock Purdy, you need to come back. No, but seriously, it was just a weird vibe, right? And it was low scoring. But the most exciting part of the game, I think, was watching the last 1 minute and 46 seconds. I just to see if the Niners had the gall, can they pull a comeback win? Not an upset, but a comeback win. Because I don't think the Cardinals weren't favored in this game. The Niners were favored by 3 points. Which means if you bet, I don't know how to bet, but if you bet with the Niners and the 3 lost, right? Because we only won by 1. I don't know how it works. Got to ask John. He's good at that. We'll ask him we'll ask him tomorrow on his show. That's crazy. It's crazy. Here's what I did not like, though. 25 minutes and 21 seconds, time of possession. Like, we just couldn't get into a rhythm, you know? Like, we just really couldn't. There was no rhythm. There was rhythm in spurts, but there was no rhythm to control this game. And that first drive, I think, lasted 1 minute. The first possession was 1 minute offensively. I know the defense was like, damn, can we get a break? You know, especially when your defense forced a 3 and out, you know, and the offense comes on the football field and it's like, damn, can we get a break? It was crazy, you know, it was definitely crazy. And so, you know, the Niners, when you're in a divisional game, this is how you should expect them to go. Back and forth. That pure domination stuff, that's pretty much over. Everybody in the NFC West wants to be on top. And every team looks good. Let's not act like the NFC West looked like trash after 3 games. We all watched we didn't watch the Seahawks because we were watching the Niners. We all saw how the Seahawks put up 90,000 points against a team we kind of struggled against, the Saints. Yeah, Sam Darnold was just slanging it. We watched it. I'm mad I didn't pick him up as my quarterback fantasy that week. But I'm just saying, like, these teams are good. The Cardinals were 2-0 coming in. The Rams were 2-0 going into Philly, and they had the game, and they blew it. The NFC West right now are built to have close games against one another. Everybody wants to be at the top. It's not like the Cardinals, how it was 4 or 5 years ago, where they were just starting to build. Now, the Cardinals might be one of the most battered, bruised teams. We talked about how bad the secondary was, and Mac Wilson was flying around, knocking cats off. I know he's a linebacker, but golly. And it's funny because he's one of the worst linebackers in the league. Not against the Niners. He plays very well against the Niners. From now on, player I'm going to be watching, Mac Wilson Jr. I sure will be. That cat was flying. He hit Christian McCaffrey so hard, I flew back. I was like, damn, you couldn't even give him a heads up? Nope. That's the football I like, though. That's football. McCaffrey got up. It was good to see McCaffrey get up and not like he was phased. He was hit, but not really phased. That was really cool to see because I was like, damn, McCaffrey didn't even know the hit was coming. Those are the ones when you can't brace yourself. Those are the ones that hurt the most. But for the Niners, man, they play well enough to find a way to win. And Mac Jones, you know, I got to give it up to the kid. The kid has big balls, like, you know, big period. Because that kid, it's like he just said F everything and let's go win this game. That's what he did. He put the team on his back. Mac put the team on his back. I watched it. You watched it. After throwing an interception, which was horrible, right? After throwing an interception, he put the team on his back when it mattered the most. After getting the safety, it was like everything that could go wrong for the Niners was going to go wrong, and Mac said, bump that, we're going to overcome this. And I loved how he did it because it wasn't just throwing the ball to Christian McCaffrey and Ricky Pearsall. I will say that 4th and 2 Ricky Pearsall play probably was the best play of the game. Not because it was the most explosive play of the game, but did you see the throw and the catch? That was Jerry Rice-esque. I haven't seen too many shoulder fade throws in a long time because Brandon Ayuk ain't played in a minute. You know what I'm saying? But man, the ball just dropped into the basket over his shoulder. Do you guys know how difficult it is to catch that type of a pass? Because the receiver can't really see the pass. They're just praying that it falls into the basket, and then they got to lock it in and hold control of it to the ground. Miss Sin, what's going up? She says, oh, yes, hubby was happy about his Eagles beating the Rams. I was happy for different reasons. I think we all are. That's the first time a 49ers fan base cheered for the Philadelphia Eagles. Won't happen. It'll happen 2 more times this season because they got to play the Cardinals, I believe, and they got to play the Seahawks, right? They got the NFC West this year, I think, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know the schedule. If you're a Philly fan, let me know. But yeah, it's only time. Only time you're going to get it. You know, only time you're going to get it. You know, he says, "Did you see Eddie P's reaction as soon as he kicked the ball? My guy got swag, bro. He was putting the guns down. I mean, he was putting the shooters down. He was putting the pew pews down. I gotta say pew pews. Just realized, gotta say pew pews. Can't say guns. He was putting them down. Listen, that cat confidence is through the roof. I'm getting excited. That cat's confidence though is through the roof. They asked Kyle Shanahan about his confidence. He was like, yeah, he seems pretty confident to me. It's like I haven't really got a chance to get to know him, but he seems really confident. But I did see his reaction, and it was amazing. You know, it was amazing for sure. But again, man, Mac Jones. I don't know if he was your player of the game, but man, that drive was official because he started thinking. Sky Moore caught a pass. Kendrick Bourne caught a pass. I mean, guys that weren't necessarily that we were expecting to catch the passes caught the pass. And if you want to know, we talked about Upton Stout's play on defense. Let's talk about that Christian McCaffrey screen, which I'm pretty sure it was a 20-yard gain, it was an explosive play, but I don't know what Christian McCaffrey was thinking. But all he had to do was cut the ball to the outside, left out. Man, he would have a touchdown. Watch it again. I'm going to watch the film, make sure my eyes weren't deceiving me. But, man, it was like Green Acres is a host of fun. Like, it was clear as day because the blocker, I think it was a wide receiver, blocked the guy in. And so instead of going in, just cut out. I don't think Christian McCaffrey cared at that moment. I just don't think he saw it. But, man, had he saw that, Jesus, he would have been in the end zone. And then the Niners would have had a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Man, you gotta love the grit from every player. If you didn't get anything else from this game, you realize that even an all-pro Christian McCaffrey is a gritty player. And I think that is the identity, because it said that they're still searching for their identity. They're still searching. I think that, in my opinion, that is the identity of this year's team. You know, I truly do. I think they are all fighting for something individually and putting it together in a pot to collectively find ways to get over this adversity that they're facing, you know. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like, and again, a few players played really well. But stats-wise, Mac Jones, 27 for 41, 284 yards, 6.9 average touchdowns. He has 4 touchdowns over the past 2 games, 3 last game, 1 this game, an interception, and a fumble. So those are his turnovers. He was sacked once in this game as well. Finished with an 83.8 rating. On the ground, Christian McCaffrey, 17 carries, 52 yards, average 3.1. We're used to seeing that number close to 5. So that's why I think a lot of us are just like, huh? But we did get the explosive runs in this game. He had a 15-yard run in this game. So slowly but surely, you're starting to see the explosiveness come back, not just from McCaffrey, but from the 49ers run offense. All right, so that's key. Brian Robinson Jr. also had 2 carries for 22 yards. As far as receiving, Christian McCaffrey led this team in targets. He was targeted 15 times. Kyle Shanahan talked about it. And he said, listen, man, it's part because he's built in as the check down. So, like, if sometimes he also said that Christian McCaffrey was the number 1 option. I don't know if you peeped that, but he said McCaffrey's our number 1 option, and he's the check down guy. So expect him to get those targets. But 15 targets, 10 receptions, 88 yards. He averaged 8.8 yards per reception, and the long was the screen for 20. Ricky Pearsall led all receivers in yardage, though. 8 receptions on 11 targets, 117 yards, averaged 14.6 yards per reception. He had the explosive play down the field for 34. We talked about that shoulder catch. Ricky Pearsall is blossoming. And I think my favorite take on the Ricky Pearsall was what Trent Williams said. He's like, what did you expect? He's a first-round pick. And I'm like, yeah, right? Like, duh. Like, you expect him to progress a lot faster than a second-round pick, then a lot faster than a third-round pick, and then a hell of a lot faster than the 4th and the 5th and the 6th and the 7th, right? Because you drafted him in the first round. Now, we're going to continue to watch him take the strides, but he gave me 2 games, week 1 and week 3, where if his number is called, he's going to show up. I'm super excited for Ricky Pierce. So Kendrick Bourne was third in targets. He had 4 receptions. We talked about that one drop, 38 yards. So he helped move the chains for sure. Kyle Juszczyk scored the only touchdown. And here's the thing. I know Kyle Juszczyk was returning from the concussion, but we need more juice. And around that goal line, I need more juice. I don't know about you, but give me more juice. And I'm saying because he's the X factor around the goal line. Like him coming out of the backfield was amazing. It was like a fake handoff. Christian McCaffrey did it in his touchdown pass last week. They ran the same fucking play to the other side just with a fullback instead of the running back. It was beautiful. It was actually the same play as Luke Farrell's touchdown catch. Excuse me. It was the same play, same route. It was just like amazing. It was just like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. You blocked and then you tailed off. And I was watching another team play, I think Tucker Kraft from the Green Bay Packers last week. And I'm like, why don't the Niners do more of this in the goal line? Just block and release. Check and release. It's super simple. It's like it doesn't even have to be complicated. He's blocking. And so by the time he's blocking, let the pressure come. You check release. There's nobody covering. He's wide open. Juice caught the touchdown. Juice caught that touchdown. So, look, the Niners, 1 touchdown. That's all they got, you know. Defensively, I mean, there's no player greater than Fred Warner. I mean, 11 tackles, 5 solos, 2 pass deflections. There's just no player greater. And we just got to continue to hope that he continues to stay as healthy as possible. Dude played all 66 snaps on defense. And there's no player greater than Fred Warner. And we need it. We need him to play that way. I think Fred Warner's play elevates everybody else's play because D. Winters is balling out. Marquise Siegel had 7 tackles, Pinnock had 3. Lenore had 3. Crean had 4. Sam Okuano, who I think can start at the edge position. Nobody's talking about Sam Okuano. Like, I feel like that's the guy you're going to start. Now, the question is who's going to come in and who's going to help rotate. So the 49ers defense, once again, helped seal the deal of this game. They just made plays when they needed to play. Niner faithful. Was Sky Moore part of that 2-minute drill? He sure was. He caught a pass. He sure did. He caught a pass. I think that was his only target in this game, too. He was 1 for 1. If you had him in fantasy football, you made 2 points in a PPR league. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, look, man, these guys are going to be just fine defensively. It's like they're not putting Band-Aids on stuff. They, like, actually have answers to some of the other things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they actually have answers to some of, you know, when they got to plug and play. We're going to keep you posted on the CJ West injury because he did leave with a thumb injury and he didn't return. So I'm curious to see how that pans out. We got a couple of super chats I wanted to get to before we get to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Jax, Wayne on her has nothing on the Wayne on here has nothing on the Patreon. Oh, that's funny. No, I mean the Patreon is a little bit more relaxed. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you know here, you know, I feel like I'm on ABC. You kind of got to watch what you say. You're going to get fired. You know what I'm saying? On the Patreon, it's exclusive. That's why you pay for it. It's exclusive. X-Man 2, he was in that chat too on the pages. That damn Patreon weighing a minutes compared to YouTube. The fan team, the passion. Yeah, like I think that's where I really belong. Cause like if I was at a game, I'm way more reserved. Because I'm more like I'm not spectating. I feel like when I'm at a game, like I feel like I'm taking notes. I'm in the press box. But on big plays, I'm filming. I'm doing everything by myself at the game. But at home, I don't got to do any of that, right? And so I could really be me. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's cool. It was fun. But thank you guys, Patreon members. Appreciate that. Let's get to the good, to the bad, and the ugly. Because I got some. I tell you what, again, though, this is the second week in a row where I have. Well, actually, I think this week the good and the bad was equal. I'll leave it at that. The come from behind win, 16-15 win. Mac Jones, that drive, the Eddie Pinedo kick to seal the deal. to set up for that. All that goes into part of being the good. You just can't ask for a better finish. You wish the team wasn't in that scenario, but they were in that scenario. So how can they overcome that scenario? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what you get. Ricky Pearsall, probably player of the game. I mean, the kid continues to just blossom. Again, 11 targets, 8 receptions, 117 yards, 14.6 per average. The only thing missing was the touchdown, and damn, like the kid continues to blossom and blossom and blossom. You know what I mean? So that's great to know because his number is going to continue to be called until teams start saying, hey, we got a game plan for that kid. He was a first-round pick. We might need to start bracketing him or whatever. And that's when you're going to see the real Ricky Pearsall stand up. Love the kid. Love the energy. More good, though. A lot of good. Christian McCaffrey, 140 all-purpose yards. We talked about his accomplishment earlier on the show. He continues to just take strides. He continues to take positive strides in different directions. So it's like he's getting to the same place, just going down different roads. Like Christian McCaffrey is turning into like a scholar of the game. It's just so weird. It's so weird to watch. Like he you guys remember Luke Kuechly, his former teammate? Like Luke Kuechly was probably the smartest linebacker to play the game. Like he understood the X's and O's more than anything. And he played, his intensity was able to match the cognitive ability of the game. So unfortunately, the head injuries and things cut his career short. So I feel like Christian McCaffrey is that, but as a running back. He's like, all right, you're playing me this way, so let me relearn this, and I'll figure out a different way to beat you. That's what I'm getting from Christian McCaffrey. I might be a bad example, but that's what I'm getting. Christian McCaffrey continues to take strides in the right direction. Coming off of last year's injuries, he's not as dynamic and explosive on the runs because the line just isn't creating them. But when he gets the ball in his hands, he's still a crazy threat. Fred Warner, 11 tackles, more good, 5 solo, 2 pass deflections. The sack from Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff was second in pressures. He was second in pressures on this team. He had 5 pressures in this game. Second, 6 by Mykel Williams, 5 from Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff was winning. And there was a couple of times, man, it's hard to get that elusive mother little trucker down, bro, but Bryce Huff was getting there. And then how can we not talk about the great Eddie Pinheiro for the win? Because if you're talking about a player that had ice water in his it's in his blood. Like this kid is dynamic. He was able to go out there and not only did he seal the deal, am I the only one that was impressed that ball went straight down the middle? It didn't have no left, no right, no trajectory whatsoever. It just went right down the middle. I mean, I don't know if kickers practice like that. If that's their I don't know, but I know he's night and day. The Niners kicking game is night and day, and I will say this: if this was a different kicker back there, the Niners probably wouldn't have won this game. And we talked about that you had to change the kicker up because there's going to be some games that you have to rely on your kicker because they're going to be gritty, and you have to rely on your kicker to come out there and seal the deal. All right, so that's your good, man. So, good. The good was good. Let's get to some of the bad because the bad is going to have you saying, what? All right, so nothing in particular to specific players other than, I'll single out a couple of players, but the Niners were 2 for 10 on third down. That shit is terrible. That's 20%. I don't know, but third down is the money down. And some of it is because it was third and longs and third, it's hard to convert those. But man, they got to be better. And last time I checked, the Niners were one of the top teams in the league on third down. Doesn't look like it. But that lets you know that how bad third down might be just around the NFL. Like third down is tough. One for 4 in the red zone, so 25% in the red zone. They got to the red zone 4 times. The only touchdown that they were able to get was the one to Kyle Juszczyk. So they got to be better. Like the Niners got to be better in the red zone, because when they don't score in the red zone, it just makes stuff. It just makes it harder on them to close out the game. I'll leave it at that. Penalties were bad in this game. Not a lot of penalties. I'll leave it at that. But still, the penalties, there were 2 costly penalties, one on the offensive side, one on the defensive side. Ronaldo Green's PI was crazy. Like, it was in the end zone. It was on third down. They gave him a first down. It was just like, oh. And then they put him at the goal line, so they were able to score. I think that's when Trey McBride got the touchdown. It was just bad. Anyway, there you go with that. And then on the offense, you know, you got to talk about Dominic Pooney with the holding call. I thought the holding call was it was. I thought he was out the end zone when he held. So in order for it to be a safety, the quarterback's got to be in the end zone. Now I got to go rewatch it, but I thought the way my eyes were seeing it, he was out of the end zone. It should have just been a 10-yard penalty and whatever, but it was called a safety, and it gave them the 2-point lead, and it gave them the ball back. So 2 costly penalties that could have cost the Niners this game. We got to talk about we got to talk about the non-safety call too. I thought that was I understand the rules, but the defense was teed up. They had, I was about to call him Russell Wilson. They had Kyler Murray in the end zone, but the rules state that if the ball is out of the end zone and he attempts to throw, then it's not ruled as a safety. Now, if he had the ball in the end zone with him, it would have been a safety. But because he had the ball in the air outside the end zone, it wasn't a safety. Those are the NFL rules on being in the end zone. I don't make up the rules. The rules clearly have changed over the years. That's why it wasn't called a safety. What they did call is intentional grounding and the turnover on downs for the Niners. So the Niners they forced them to punt, not a turnover and down, but the Niners forced them to punt. But that call was kind of questionable. Like it was just kind of questionable. It is what it is. I know a lot of people said that it was a safety, but I felt like it was a safety. But according to the rules, when you look at his hand and his arm and the ball, it is not in the end zone. Believe it or not, that's some bullshit. Like that's the rule, you know. Rusty says Mac was deep in the end zone. All right, my bad. I digress. Listen, I'm not that type of person. And this is my big bro Rusty. So if he said this is what it was, this is what it was. I'm not that homer type of person. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. You feel me? So he says, he was deep in the end zone. That's all I needed to know. I said I need to go back and rewatch it because I remember it was a couple of holds on that. And so I didn't know which particular one. Was it when he was in the end zone? Was he out of the end zone? But if he was deep in the end zone, boom, there you go. That's why it was a safety. I could tell you that. I could tell you that right now. And they're going to call it every time because you saw him grab the arm and then you saw him reach again. Like, bro, you grabbed the first time, man. But don't reach again. Listen, let Calais Campbell come after your guy. And maybe Mac Jones can force to make a miss. I don't know. What's up, Uncle Salty? Love you too, dog. It is crazy. Now, we got to get to the ugly. Oh, I'm not done. The interception had to be, that was bad. The interception was bad because I don't know who the Mac Jones was throwing it to. Clearly, he was throwing it to their defense, but like Ricky Pearsall was in the vicinity. Now, I'm going to give my take. I think Ricky Pearsall is the man. And I'm going to tell you why. It's a bad take. Brock Purdy did the same damn thing, and Mac Jones did the same damn thing. Brock Purdy threw it to Ricky Pearsall in triple coverage. Mac Jones just said, Ricky, you in the area. I know you could go up and get it. Like he got a rocket booster backpack on and could just split defenders. And so, look, I don't know. I kind of like the fact that they trust that their receiver can make a play on the ball, but damn them some bonehead-ass penalties. Brock and Mac, y'all got to get y'all together. Like that could cost you the game. That is not good. You have to know what's going on. Luckily, the Niners were able to overcome that. As far as the ugly, there's no ugly in this game other than the simple fact that Nick Bosa got injured and didn't return. And that right now, I think we're all just holding our breaths on the status of our star player, Nick Bosa, And I definitely want to send, this is the type of person I am. So if you're a Cardinals fan, if you're anybody of a fan, this doesn't take you to be a fan. You don't have to be a fan. But my prayers go out to running back James Conner because that injury was gruesome. And he's done for the season. I think they said that was an ankle injury, not a knee injury. So he's done. And so my prayers go out to him. And we would never know what this game would have been like if James Conner was still playing because his time is in the fourth quarter, right? Like his time is where he takes over the fourth quarter, kind of wails on the defense. They did get explosive plays on the Niners in the second half. None in the first half, but in the second half. I have a whole book of explosive plays for the Niners in this game defensively, and the first half was clean slate. Second half, they gave up the 29-yard run. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, come on. So I hope it's not career ending for him, but it's definitely our prayers definitely go out to a new member for life Niner. I don't think you're a new member. You've been a member. So appreciate you for rejoining. Thank you so much, man, for what you do and what you contribute to the community here for the 49ers, man. We appreciate it 1,000%. But look, in all actuality, like to close out the show, and shout out to everybody for staying in, tuning in. And I hope if you're listening, you enjoy the show by leaving a good rating. Thumbs up, like, share, something. Anything positive. If you do something negative, expect me to clap back. All right, no, I'm just playing. But for Life Niner, thank you. But, just overall looking at this, the Niners, they battled it out, gritty win at home. And what I saw some of the comments in the chat says, it doesn't matter. A win is a win. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. A win is a win. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that, they were able to find a way. Because my motto is on the road, you find a way to win. At home, I'm expecting you to dominate. But there's going to be those games where it's going to be a boxing match. And it's going to go 12 rounds. Not every boxing match is going to be a TKO. I come from the Mike Tyson era of boxing where I'm expecting you to knock a person out. Like, really, just knock them out round 1, round 2, round 3 at the latest. Some boxing matches, man, they're going to go the whole 12 rounds. And the Niners went 12 rounds with the Arizona Cardinals. And the Cardinals put up a good fight. But the Niners got the last hit. And that's what I like to see from this Niners football team. We said it earlier in the show. If you could find ways to win gritty, just imagine what happens when you get certain players back that help make you run things a lot smoother. I think the Niners are going to be in good standings. They got the Jacksonville Jaguars coming into town. We'll be talking about the matchup all week long right here on the channel. So check out all the different shows that we got going on. I'll be live on the Patreon this Sunday covering the game as well with live analysis, reactions, all that good stuff. So if you want, man, become a member of the Patreon. Believe the link, I'll make sure it's in the description of the show, but it's patreon.com/the Wayne Breezie. Players of the game for me, it offensively, and I stick with one. I don't go with two. Offensively, I'm going to go with Ricky Pearsall. I think Ricky Pearsall deserves player of the game, even though Christian McCaffrey is still the best player on the field. And even though Eddie Pinheiro won it, like he did win the game, but I think Ricky Pearsall, that explosive catch on 4th and 2, if he drops that, the game's over. There's so many different ways the Niners could have lost this game. Think about it. God, I didn't even think about that until the end of the show. And defensively, it's going to be Fred Warner all day. I thought Bryce Huff had a tremendous game, but Fred Warner continues to just be the cream of the crop. Until you're not the cream of the crop, it is what it is. You know what I didn't get a chance to go over? I'll do it real quickly. The grades. All right. Now, these grades are posted on my Twitter. All right, so if you go to my Twitter at the Wayne Breezy, you'll see them. Highest offensive grade was Mac Jones. He had an 80.7. All right, and so look, the offense. It took a minute for the offense to get going. It just did. It just took a minute. You can see the lowest offensive grade was Connor Colby. He had the 45.4, and I did it that way on purpose. So the bottom 5 defensively. Your highest grade defensively was Bryce Huff. I told you he was balling out. The dude, 82.4 and 90.1, excuse me, highest grade. 5 pressures from him. Looked very dominant in this football game. Very dominant. Lowest defensive grade, Alfred Collins with the 35.7. And so, look, these are the young guys. I mean, a lot of the low grades, you see Upton Stout down there too. Upton Stout's going to be down there because he continues to get burnt and coverage. It's just, can he figure out a way to close out and force the PBU? But I think the fact that he's getting burnt in coverage is going to hinder his grade a bit. Rookies, man, a lot of young players on the bottom of that list, so I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it. I expect it, actually. When you see a player high up on that list, that's great. You celebrate it. When you see him on the bottom of the list, you would kind of expect it because there's going to be games where there's going to be growing pains. Night of Faithful says, was that PI call BS? Nah, he grabbed him. I mean, he interfered with him. He didn't grab him as a whole, but he interfered. You see it. It's in the end zone. And it just can't happen. He played it. Looked like he played it well. But to the discretion of these refs, you got to play it better than well in order for them to not call it. And sometimes they're just going to call it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just what it is. It didn't go to him. No, the first. All right, so he got the penalty. The first one, it offset, right? The first one offset. The second one didn't go to him, but it happened near him, right? Didn't it happen near him? I don't know. I got to rewatch it. It's just crucial. And you got to talk about, there was a couple of drops too in this game. Like the Niners had luck on their side. I'll leave it at that. I would say the Niners had luck. And every now and then you need a little bit of luck on your side. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because MHJ dropped the touchdown pass. That was the Fred Warner in coverage. He blew that coverage, but we're not going. People want to know why Fred Warner grade wasn't higher than Bryce Huff. That one coverage grade. Now, luckily, he dropped it, but that was a touchdown. Who was the other player? It was a running back, 31. Imani, is that his name? Imar Khan. I can't say his last name. Let me see if I can look it up. Felt like he dropped one, too. They dropped 2 TD. They dropped 2 plays that would have been touchdowns, and they were wide open. Imari DiMercado. That's his name. DiMercado. You know, it is what it is. Oh, we're going to end the show in a super chat. Thank you, Miss Cynthia. She had great Tony Tiger voice show. Great show. Yeah, man, look, either way, it was going to be a penalty. You know, either way, it was going to be a penalty. It would have been a legal contact if it was the 5 yards, you know, whatever. But it was so close to the end zone. It was just weird. I don't know. It is what it is. Niners got to clean a lot of stuff up. That's what we talked about. So they got to find ways to get better. The good thing is it's happening to these young guys, so they're going through these growing pains. I'd have been more upset if it was on like a veteran, like Demo or whatever like that. Bro, you know better. But these young guys are going to get tested. And Ronaldo Green is going to continue to be tested. He has to prove that he's that dude. You know what I'm saying? And he will. I have the utmost faith. Ms. Cynthia, thank you for the super chat. Thank everybody for all their super chats and becoming members of the channel. Again, don't forget, check out that Patreon. We're going to be live this weekend, and it's going to be on and popping. Love y'all. Keep it faithful to the Bay. And I'll see you guys on Friday with John Chapman and the game plan. Peace.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.